This Chat with the Experts is brought to you by Angie's List on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List. I'm Kyle Hawk, and I am joined today by several different service providers who are sharing their dedication to service and why customer relationships matter so much. We just heard from Mitch and Jennifer Mock of Lang & Walter Carpet Care, but now we want to transition to a different type of service. We're happy to welcome in Tommy Clayton of Tommy's Taxi here in Indianapolis. Tommy's been providing taxi service around the Indianapolis area since 1989 and has developed a reputation as being one of the nicest guys in the city. He loves helping his customers not only get to and from their destinations, but also loves providing a few smiles and laughs along the way. Tommy, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks for having me here today.
I wanted to start by asking you how you got into the taxi business. If I understand correctly, you were originally a banker.
Yeah, I enjoyed banking, but it was a little time-consuming. I had growing kids and had a daughter that was very athletic, and all of her ball games right after school. So I got to a point where I could give all of my regular passengers her schedule and say, these are the days I can't pick you up. And out of 220-something ball games, I only missed 6 of them.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what all was involved in getting into the taxi business? I mean,
well, I took a little sabbatical and started driving the taxi part-time, and kind of liked it. As an independent contractor, I didn't have a boss except for the one that I've lived with for 36 years. I found that my lifestyle didn't change. Matter of fact, it got better. And I'm a people person. So I had a lady passenger in Zionsville that put me on Angie's List. I never knew of Angie's List, never heard of it, never knew the purpose of it.
Yeah.
And it just blossomed.
So what's been your favorite part about being a taxi driver?
Well, mostly the people, the passengers that I have become family to me. A lot of them become acquaintances, and then they become friends. And so outside of the taxi business, I've offered some other services. I've acted as an extended part of the family in outpatient surgeries or outpatient procedures. And they really appreciate that. All of my passengers are on a first name basis.
Okay.
I've had several doctors I never knew they were doctors, and I respect their title, but I just call them by their first name.
Well, does it take a certain kind of personality to do your type of work? Have you always been an outgoing guy?
Yeah, I have been. Sorry to say, sometimes, yes, it does take a special person to deal with the public.
Sure.
There's some people, they're in the service industry, and they get up on the wrong side of bed in the morning, and they're like that all day long, you know.
Yeah.
I'm always, I'm very optimistic. I'm always positive, so
yeah,
I enjoy it.
Well, you know, we're talking about the importance of service today and doing what you do. There may be times where you see somebody one time, you're giving them this one ride, and then there's other people who, you know, for years you get to know them. How important is it for you to make a connection or have a positive interaction with the people that are using your service?
Repeat business. I find that most passengers are very comfortable with me. Like you said, I like to give a lot of them a chuckle for the day.
Yeah.
The first timers, I take them, probably most of the first timers are going to the airport, and they like my service. I'm there on time. That's very important.
Yeah.
A lot of people call a taxi. They just want to make sure that one is on its way. And in the 28 years that I've been driving, I've missed one in the morning because a tree fell on a power line at my house and in the driveway.
Oh, goodness. Well, that's a pretty good track record. So it sounds like, the relationships you develop have a way of expanding the business because these people are turning into repeat customers.
Oh, yeah, by far. I become a part of their family. I'm not just a taxi driver. I've been invited to weddings. I've been a pallbearer for 8 of my passengers.
Wow.
I've been, I walked a blind passenger across stage at her commencement 2 years ago.
Wow, that's incredible.
But that was only because we had built a relationship over the 3 years that she was going to school.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've already mentioned several, but I mean, I imagine some of these are the ones that come to the forefront of your mind. Do you have other stories that kind of, when you think about, this customer I had this experience with and how great it was?
Well, most of them are, on a scale of 1 to 10, most of them are 8 and above.
Yeah.
I usually do that myself, make it at that high level. I have met the strangers that I didn't recognize. I asked a lady one time, did she take a ride around the track when I picked her up at the Speedway? And she said, I've been around it a few times, but I didn't take the shuttle. And it was Janet Guthrie. I didn't recognize her at the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we're talking about these people that the first time you're using your service, maybe they just want to ride to the airport, but are there opportunities to set up like weekly services? Are there people that you're servicing like each week?
Yeah, I have quite a few passengers that I take to work daily. I take and pick them up in the evening. Wednesday's my little old lady's day. I take 4 women to the grocery, 2 to the hairdresser, and 1 to therapy every Wednesday. If anyone would try to call me and ask for a ride at that time, they're not going to get me. Those little old ladies take precedence, and I enjoy them. They're just they're like grandmas to me.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's a really important service then on those Wednesdays. What are some of the most common trips that you end up making during the holiday season?
During the holiday season, I get pretty busy with the people going to and from the airport. Basically, maybe 8 days before Christmas, and then 8 days after Christmas, because they've got to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So how does somebody go about setting up a service with Tommy's Taxi? I mean, what's the best way to go about that? Well,
it's kind of tough. After 28 years, my calendar's pretty full,
sure.
But there's times when I have some segments in my schedule that I can help them out, but they can call me direct, or they can text me. I'm not real computer savvy, so I'm not on the email, but I can do a little email.
Yeah.
But just give me a call 3 days in advance if you need a ride at the airport. If it's something that's short-lived, there's some people that will have a surgery that they need a ride to work for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But something extended like I have with a lot of my old passengers. I've had one lady, she's 92 years old, and I've had her riding with me for 27 years.
Wow, that's incredible. And talking about just how personal you make the experience and the efforts you kind of take to put a smile on people's faces and get to know them a little bit, that's so huge, because I think for a lot of people when they think about, taking a taxi, taking a ride, you're literally getting into a vehicle with a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you don't even know how to interact. So I would imagine people really appreciate the efforts you take to kind of make them feel at peace and at home.
I talk to everybody that get in the cab. Sometimes I talk too much, I think. But there's a lot of people that after the ride's over, they go, wow, you're the first driver that's ever spoke to me, or you're not real quiet like everyone else. I've really enjoyed the ride. And they really compliment me, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And there's chances sometimes I'll pick them up a second time from a radio call or something like that. Yeah.
So as we finish up here and talking all about service today, if you had to boil it down to one thing that's most important to you about providing quality service, what would that reason be?
Being on time.
Yeah.
People like that, they don't want to worry. When they've called me, they know I'm on the way.
Right.
Matter of fact, I have a habit of getting places maybe 10 minutes ahead of time, and I'll just work a Sudoku puzzle until they're ready,
It's a great idea. Well, Tommy, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us today, and thank you so much for sharing your stories and all of the great work you do.
Okay, great. I enjoyed it.
That is Tommy Clayton of Tommy's Taxi. It's actually time for us to take another brief break, but we are still rolling here on Chat with the Experts. When we come back, we're going to welcome in Angie's List senior reporter Paul Pogue to talk with us about some stories and special bonds that he's seen form between service providers and their customers. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay right here. You're listening to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List.
More than 2 million members use the power of Angie's List to find and hire great local service providers. Whether you need a plumber or a pet sitter, Angie's List has you covered. See ratings and reviews in hundreds of categories, shop popular offers, and request scheduling assistance directly online. Memberships start at just $9.99 per year. That's less than $1 a month. Join now and get 40% off with promo code WIBC40. Visit angieslist.com today.